Whoa. It is 2 o'clock and we are here. We are here to vicariously live through Zoom and through the internet for our Pull Up a Chair Expo. This is our tribute. So, everybody have some fun. This is going to be very chill. I'm going to kind of go through the people that are here, and some people might hop in, some people might take off. Whatever you want to do. And this is something we've been talking about for a while. I had a little live stream last night for just a little bit with Michelle. She'll be in here shortly also. We kind of just want to promote of what our community is doing and why we still exist. This is a new format, especially for what Time to Tabletop does here in Sacramento. Very different because we do very face-to-face, in person, across the table gaming. That's been our MO since the beginning. And we don't forget about this because we stream every Tuesday night with Michael. Michael Panish runs a game every Tuesday night on our channels. So we're not immune to that either. So it's okay to make noise, everybody. Just hang out, change your backdrops, get weird. It's totally fine. Just let everybody shine. Give their moment to shine. That's always been my table rules. Is like, you will have your moment to shine. Give somebody else that same moment. So I know there's some people that are on a little bit of a time, what do you call it?
Crunch?
Restraint? I don't know. Have other
Schedule?
shit to do. What? Us as gamers and creators, we have to reinvent ourselves these days and do more almost. So I'm going to kind of give the floor over to Jen, who I've been working with you. It's been a little over a year or two. I think I met you at PAX a couple years ago. And
I think so.
Yeah. And ever since then, I've just been a huge fan of what you are doing over there. I know I get invited to play games with Jeff a lot, but I just never make it down to Oakland because it's a Wednesday night. And I was like, oh, there's a bridge and a toll.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. But you have been a godsend to us here at Time to Tabletop, and we really, really appreciate the support and the confidence in what we've been trying to do and using Red Dragon Inn is that way. So I'm going to give it over to you for a few minutes and then go from there.
All right. Hey, guys. If you don't know me, my name's Jen Kitzman. I'm the Director of Marketing for Slugfest Games. I don't wear prescription glasses. These are computer glasses so that I don't get eye strain and headaches from all of the blue light. And yeah, I'm glad that at least something is happening today for Pull Up a Chair Expo. I think one of my favorite parts of this job is being that contact point for so many people in the wider games community. You know, talking with the organizers of local cons, saying, hey, I could use some support for my event, and we're expecting this many people, and we're doing a charity auction for this really worthy cause. And just being able to see what they're doing and give them a hand, I really dig. So I'm happy to be here and stop in and see a bit more about what y'all are doing and what y'all are about.
Sounds nifty. I'm sorry.
I'm muted. I was muted.
Okay.
I don't get to see my mute. I
Moving.
was like, blah, 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 blah. No, we really appreciate the support from Slugfest because, the Red Dragon Inn is just, I play with my kids all the time, and we bring it in because we do, there's a couple people in here that'll talk about that, but the tap room events, we do quite a few of them here in Sacramento. I think we're up to almost 6 a month. We were up until this, and then it just was such a perfect fit for coming in there and playing Red Dragon Inn. It's a pretend to drink and not pass out game, and I was like, well, hello, this fits perfect. And it's just so fun. It has so many characters in it. I have not Battle for Greyport. I have not even busted that open yet. I do have it. Thanks to Jen, we're gonna be promoting that and playing some of that during the actual face-to-face expo,
Nice.
which is happening. We are not canceling. I'm very avid on saying we are not canceling. We're postponing until when? We have not confirmed yet, but we will be doing that with Red Dragon Inn, Battle for Greyport. There's some goodies that are going out from Slugfest Games in our VIP bags, all that kind of stuff. So we praise you and love you, Jen, for making sure this shit just happens. Like, it's this human being right here is like, hey, what do you think about this? She goes, give me a week. And I was like, okay. And then a week later, something shows up or a promotion is emailed to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So somebody that's very tried and true to us here. I know we only see each other like once a year, I think.
Yeah, like one, maybe two cons.
Yeah. But other than that, we do, actually, we love working with you guys. So.
Oh, great. Well,
thank you. And I know you have something coming on. You've got something going on today, correct? And at what time is that?
Yes, we're actually doing our own live stream. We're going to get together, play some Tabletop Simulator, live stream that on Twitch, probably drink some beers, and just try to relax and have a fun game out in the open.
Good. See, I think those, as us as designers and in the creative industry, we find out that we can work from home, right? So a lot of times. So having a beer in the middle of the day is pretty normal. I mean, I feel like, some people only do it like on vacation or on weekends. It's like, nah, it's Tuesday and I'm working from home. Today's my day.
Secret lore, I'm a total lightweight. And like, alcohol messes with how I sleep really badly, even though I'm a sleepy drunk, and so I've got a little assortment of rules. It's like, not before 4 p.m., not after 7 p.m.
I think we're all kind of similar as you get a little bit older. At least me, I was like, if I drink before 2 p.m., I'm taking a long nap. After 26, drinking changed a lot for me. I can see that. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what we are as an industry. Oh, here's I'm gonna pop something in here. So yeah, that's where. But yeah, if is it on your Twitch channel and Facebook and all that stuff? Are you streaming live on all the platforms, Jen?
We're only streaming live to Twitch.
Okay.
For this stream, because we're basically all old and don't know how to do much more than that right now. But we will be posting the results of the stream to our YouTube channel after it's over.
Okay. So, but is it twitch.tv/
Slugfest Games?
Oh.
I know.
Can anybody find that? Probably. So, twitch.tv/ Slugfest Games. We are on, and if you're watching us on any of our social media, because we're wherever you're watching us, that's where you can find us at all times. So make sure and go over there, twitch.tv/ Slugfest Games, and check out what they're doing, because yeah, we love these guys. So
I gotta do setup in
I feel
sometime, but the stream itself starts at 4 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So yeah, well, hang out with us if you want, and at 4 o'clock, go on over there. We'll do a little plug at the end right when we're done, and see if we can get them, if there's what viewers are in here to go check you guys out. So yeah, thank you so much. And if you gotta go, we love having you and get all that set up going. I know we just had somebody else just pop into the room here. Who's this? We'll talk to you in a minute, Michelle. I see you. I see you. So anybody else have like some time restraints in here just to pop in for a little bit? I'd like to get to you guys first so that, we don't take up your time, because I know there's a lot more going on. You don't think that, but now that we're home and if we have kids and we have family, it's like we're pretty busy. Lucy, you're
Scooter,
good?
I guess I'll jump in.
Yes.
Since it's 11 p.m. over here, I can only
Yes.
be on here for be awake for 10 more minutes. But hi, everyone. I'm Lucy. I am associated with Time to Tabletop, Pull Up a Chair Foundation, and I'm also a PhD student at UC Davis. I study developmental psychology and, in particular, the personality aspects in the educational context. Right now, I'm actually located in Denmark because that's where my husband is, and so I'll be working on my dissertation here. But on the other front, since I'm over here, I'm only working on my dissertation. If you guys have any editing or layout work that you need help with, please let me know. It can be for anything. I love doing editing stuff, and as Scooter will tell you, when we did the curriculum, I had a blast kind of just laying things out and all of that. So just, let me know if there's anything that I can help with.
Cool.
For sure. Lucy has been a big part of kind of the groundbreaking stuff that we're doing in schools. And just as I did get notified that we had a little issue with getting on Twitch, but we should be out there any second, and all of our social medias. But Lucy, we here at Time to Tabletop, the company that we started a few years ago, actually has classes going on in the schools. So she was a huge part of the making sure that it was actually doing what we were trying to do, which is for social and emotional health with kids and adults by playing games together. So not only a huge part of that, but it happens to be the CFO of our nonprofit, of our Pull Up a Chair Foundation. So huge part of pretty much everything we do here. A lot of us do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and Lucy is a huge part of that. So thank you so much for dropping in, especially being you're in Denmark, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So thanks for hopping in with us and saying hi.
Of course. A part of me is a little tiny bit glad that we were able to have the Zoom instead of, in person, because I actually be able to attend the Zoom one. But of course, I wish the actual event would happen. But this is also really great to see everyone.
That's awesome. Okay, and we're going to have one more person popping in here. Pulling in Satine's going to come say hi.
Oh.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, welcome, Satine. We were just chatting and hanging out with each other. Just to reiterate, we're getting together to just get to know each other a little bit, because a lot of these people here are a huge part of what we do here in the Sacramento community. So you'll see people. Yep, this is your hometown. So we are pulling together everybody that's part of either Time to Tabletop here, or part of the Pull Up a Chair Foundation, or the eXpo, or just people that we work with still. I mean, I don't think there's anybody here that we don't do stuff with still. So I'm going to pop one more person in here. People are just going to come and go, Satine, so be prepared. I think Abby's coming in from one of our local game stores, Tables and Tales, because she's a huge part of what we've been doing too. So I'll welcome her. And Satine, we're going to give everybody a few minutes to chill. I think some of us might be day drinking. What else are you going to do when you got kids running around the house? And...
Baby.
I really feel for all my friends who have kids right now. I didn't realize how important daycare and school was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It has changed so much.
Homeschooling is intense.
Uh-huh.
Definitely.
My sister let me borrow my niece for 2 weeks, and she didn't tell me about curfews. You need to go to bed at 8 for a reason. And I call her crying from the closet a weekend. I'm like, I don't understand. How do you do this? She's like, haha, they go to bed at 8. I'm like, she's been up till 1 every night.
Oh, they will too.
Oh, they have to sleep?
And you have to tell them to? I know that's...
Because, yeah, they won't sleep if you don't. If you ask them, they'll tell you they
no.
don't need to sleep.
Heck no.
Exactly.
So, well, welcome. Jen had a little bit. Lucy introduced herself. Anybody have, again, I'm going to ask this a lot probably throughout here. If anybody has to go soon, make sure and tell me or just pipe in and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. If nobody has any time constraints at this point, bye, Lucy. Lucy left. It's 11 o'clock p.m. there. Yeah. So,
speaking of curfews.
Yeah. Who's got that? This guy does. Okay.
Not me. I'm up till like 4 a.m. now for no reason. No reason.
Mm-hmm. 3 o'clock. I think last night was 3 for me. I found, look at that show. Whoa. Jeez. So, let's see. We'll go around here. Michelle's in here.
I'll go last. I'll be here all day.
Yeah, and me too. So, hi, Abby. There's Abby. So she's joining in from Tables and Tales. Oh, cool. And right as that happened, Ruth is coming in from another one of our local game stores, A1 Comics.
A1 Comics.
This is amazing, guys.
Right?
Oh my god. Yeah,
look at this. It's a mini expo.
It is.
So, yeah, and Sati, this is why we really wanted you to join us, because you being from Sacramento originally, we're kind of going, oh my god, this is the best fit. Because we really work together as a community, different companies, different businesses, different communities, even like the brewing community here in Sacramento. We work very closely with them. Scattered Comics up here, Keith, he's representing them here. They're a local publisher, and then
Keiths.
Yep, then there's Keith here, who has like been a storyteller in the Sacramento area for 30-40 years. DM, GM, and all that stuff. Michael Panish. I mean, these are all just amazing human beings that this community wouldn't exist without each individual human here. So let's go with that. Hey, Keith, let's go up the top. Let's go with Scattered Comics, Keith.
Okay.
Let's talk about
Hi, Keith.
Hi. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you.
Yeah. So I think I want to start things off in general by saying it's times like this that, everybody here, I think, is kind of ready, right? Because we are storytellers and creators, and we've all read stories and experienced adventures where things don't always go as planned, right? Things go a little wry and kind of strange, and we kind of, lift ourselves up and dust ourselves off and look around and say, hey, everybody here? Everybody okay? Yeah, okay. Let's go forward, and I think that's kind of where we are now. The creative folks are kind of ready for this and that kind of thing, because we continue to create, we continue to make stories, adventures, games, comics, what have you, and we continue to say, hey, I'm ready for this, man. As far as Scattered Comics is concerned, I think I left off with the really big crossover that we're going to be doing between all of our different titles and stuff like that. And that's coming along very nicely, actually. And so we're looking at that debuting for our 30th anniversary next year. And we're going to be getting little pieces of that storyline in all of our different titles throughout coming out this year and that kind of thing. So that's been going very well. And as far as my own work is concerned, so Dr. Dream issue 2 is supposed to come out. But unfortunately, my artist is kind of stuck on, and he works out of the Philippines. And so he is actually stuck on a particular island, and he can't get back to his home because they have him on lockdown. So all the stuff he was, doing to create the issue and stuff is back on another island in the Philippines. So,
oh man,
yeah. So a little bit of delay, no big deal. I actually got started working with another artist. I think Andy 2 is his name, with Scattered Studios. He's been working on the first issue of Mary and Max, which is one of the spin-off ones from Blank, my first comic book. And this one came about after I kind of polled the fans and says, hey, where do you want to see this story go to? I've heard from a lot of people, it's like, wow, you actually did that. You actually went out and asked the fans, where do you think the story should go? Don't you think that's kind of dangerous? I'm just like, yes, it is. And so the first issue is underway, and so far I've gotten the first thumbnails back on the first 2 pages, and it looks really, really great. I can't wait for this to come out in the fall. So there's that. A lot of the other creators are working on their parts of the crossover and stuff, so it's really an exciting time. And it seems like, in one sense, yeah, it kind of stinks that we're all inside and we're not kind of all together sharing and stuff, but in another aspect, our scattered crew is like kicked it into overdrive. I mean, they're just like on top of all their other titles and stuff, and we've been really busy, getting out there and just continuing to create. So it's been pretty amazing.
Well, yes, and when it comes to the expo, when we have it in person, we have a little bit of goodies coming from Keith himself. So be aware, be excited, but be patient. But also we have, you're not just a comic dude. You have like once a year, you bring in these artists into the school that you teach at.
Yeah.
And so you're not just, doing this as a writer, you're actually a full-time teacher, and you're like shaping lives, dude. So don't sell yourself short on that stuff too. It's like, because I've been a part of that, a little part of that 2 years in a row now with you, going in there and trying to get it out there and live broadcasting it for you.
I was actually trying to keep the teacher aspect kind of quiet. Because everybody who's dealing with kids right now, right? They're bored students at home. And I didn't want that to dominate the conversation.
Oh, well, yeah, it could happen, but
yeah.
But thanks, man. Thanks for what you're doing, because you'll see more of him when the expo comes out, when we all get together. You'll be hanging out with us and putting on a little bit of workshop and talking to people and again, molding humans. So thanks, man.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to do a quick invite and hello, because I know that Rise Up popped in here to say hi, and I know Ruth is, her name's there, but I don't know if she can.
I actually don't have a camera. Sorry about that.
No worries at all. I'm excited that you're there. So Ruth is here and Riza is here, and huge parts of this community here. Riza is our captain of the party. She is here at Time to Tabletop, she's basically our event coordinator for all the local events that we do. So she works her butt off doing that, plus she actually works a lot in her daytime job too. So we got to make sure and shout out for that.
I didn't know.
Hey, there you are.
I was trying to figure out this whole time. I was like, oh my god, I don't know.
So yeah,
Hi.
yeah, who's I know you got the Keith. Let's see, let's go over to YOLO Peter. Looks super excited over there. Who's this guy? Because YOLO, he's the reason we are at YOLO Brewing for our events, and he's also part of one of the headlining musicians that are coming to the Pull Up a Chair Expo. They'll be closing out the evening. He's part of the band that's the last band of the day. Let's give it to him for a little bit and see what's up.
Hello. Hey, for people who haven't met me, I'm Peter. I'm the GM over at YOLO Brewing Company in West Sac. So, we host once a month regular time to tabletop event with whatever games people bring or whatever games Scooter and Riza bring. It's been super fun since I jumped in. I mean, I came in and they had done one or two previously, and then it had fallen off for whatever reason. I don't ask a lot of questions about what happened before I was there. It was garbage. I got them back going, and it's been awesome just having that be a part of our community. YOLO's been trying to angle towards more of a community center sort of vibe for the brewery rather than just like, hey, come get smashed. So that's been really fun, just having them be a part of it, and then being able to get the band involved has been fun. Just Scooter's come to a bunch of shows and seen it, so we were super stoked. Our whole band is a bunch of tabletop dorks, so they were all very, very jazzed to be able to be part of an actual tabletop expo. So yeah, it's been we're super happy. YOLO did the +1 Charisma Ale for last year's, and we were
there it is,
happy and prepared to do it again this year, and are still happy and prepared to do it as soon as we get a final date ruling on when the actual expo will end up being.
That of course is going to be our challenge, but
yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I got. I mean, I've got some stuff lined up. If I could just do a brief page share or a little screen share thing.
Do it.
Just about all the stuff going on. So, I mean, as far as like YOLO, this whole thing's been really difficult for bars, breweries, and restaurants, any kind of service industry stuff. So we're still there. We're still rolling. Let me get this rolling here. You can go to our website and just find right on the main page. We're doing all our beer to go, everything you can find, anything you want to do. We still do the custom brews. I just do it for you instead of you coming in and doing it. So, check out YOLObrew.com. You can find to-go beer and stuff. As far as the band, we've done a couple live streams, like everyone's doing now, but our music's always available online for free on Bandcamp. It's just Burning Daylight People. If you Google that, you'll find us. We do a lot of fun stuff. It's mostly like pop covers and traditional bluegrass tunes, which we have a lot of fun with. So, those two things are still going as much as they can be right now. But for keeping myself busy in personal time, I do cooking videos now online. If anybody's interested, I do live stream cooking. I basically do whatever I'm making myself for dinner. I just live stream it, talk about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, talk about different stuff like that. So
that's awesome. We all need that right now.
Yeah, so that one, if you just go on Facebook and look for Peter Cooks You Dinner, you should find my dumb face. It looks like that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's just trying to keep busy. Like we've already, like we said, we don't want it to dominate the whole thing, but I've got a 4-year-old, so yeah, I'm bummed that work is only 1 day a week for me right now, but I'm also lucky that that happened because I don't know what she would be doing. But yeah, I'm happy to be here with all you.
No, that's awesome because and a lot of the people that are coming in and out, I've actually sat across the table and played games with you, and I think that's how we all kind of pretty much met. I think every single one person here is either like we saw each other at a gaming expo or we were at a gaming event and we just ended up gaming together, and now we're still gaming together, but we're business partners kind of in a sense too, across the board. And I think that's how community should grow. That's how, and Peter's been a huge part of that. Brewing that beer last year was like, I have no idea, didn't know it was so sciencey. So we sat down and I was like, oh no, don't do that. You got to weigh that out. I was like, all right. I got everybody else, back off, Scooter. You're getting crazy. But it turned out really, really well, and we're going to do that again this year. But the Burning Daylight People, first time we saw it was like we sat down and there was a washboard and a clarinet, and I was like, okay, I'm sold. Like I'm sitting down, I'm listening to this, and then the mandolin comes out, and then Peter with his kazoo solo. I was like, okay, this is like the best thing ever.
Yeah, I'm basically the joke member of the band. I forgot to learn a real instrument, so I just made up a bunch of shit and played it.
Like he even plays a suitcase that Ryza gave him.
Yeah. I made a suitcase bass drum. That was fun.
Yeah.
I tried to get the rest of the band to come on for the stream, but I think they were all either A, busy, or B, were dreading the fact that we might be pressed into an attempt to play all together separately with the crazy lag that happens on Zoom.
Yeah.
Bards always find a way.
We're experimenting with different platforms so we can do that, but it's rough.
Bards can do anything. So thanks, dude. Thanks for hanging out with us and popping in here. I do know that Ruth, she's actually still working and stuff, so we want to make sure she gets her moment to just plug A1 Comics if she's still there. You listening, Ruth?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, Ruth.
Yeah. Hello. How are you doing? So yeah, we're technically shut down, but we're doing a lot of online business right now. So our customers have been extremely loyal, and we're getting phone calls and emails all the time of people just trying to find things that they remember seeing in our store to buy. So it's been really sweet, but it's also really hard to shift gears from being a brick and mortar store to going online. And we were working on a website that wasn't ready, but now we've made it ready because of necessity. So it's been a lot of touch and go. So anyhow, it's good, but also a little stressful too. But it's nice to see our fans reaching out to us. So I get texts from our customers asking if we're okay a lot. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, it means a lot. I was like, when it comes to our local game stores and our local community, like there's some tried and trues here, and next we'll talk to Abby about that also. But Ruth and Lambin over there at A1 Comics has been such a huge driving force behind Time to Tabletop and the community that we have, that we get together to just make sure that we've got the stuff for the people to play. Because we kind of go in there and say, hey, we're not trying to compete against each other. We're all part of the community. So we all work together somehow. But yeah, they very good about making sure that we've got some magic cards for people to draft with, and make sure that we've got the right games that people want to play, and make sure that they host once a month. We actually have an event there for RPGs, D&D and RPGs, the community that I organize also here. They play there once a month, and so they've always been very inviting and very like, hey, Scooter, what do you think we should do? And I was like, I don't know, let's try it. And sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. But I know transitioning from a brick and mortar store now, a lot of us have had to reinvent how we do things, and it's awesome because they were I remember, Ruth, you guys were talking about working on your website and kind of rebuilding it, and then this happened. It was like, oh crap, now we really gotta get this done. So, and I think a lot of us are under the gun there, but thank you so much, Ruth, for popping in. I know that you're working and getting stuff done over there to make sure this community is getting the gaming and the sanity that we all need. So I'm happy. I wish we could see your face, but we do get, because Ruth is somebody that's actually, comes over and we do game together on our game nights, and about once a month or once every other month. So thank you so much for what you're doing out there. Amazing human being. Check out a1comics.com. Seriously, Ruth she's why A1 Comics is what A1 Comics is. Let's be real. They have 3 locations. They have 3 locations here in Sacramento, and realistically, she is the driving force and face of A1 Comics. So we love you, Ruth.
I love you too, and I'll see you when this lockdown's over.
Yes, we'll see you very soon. That's what I'm saying. All right.
Okay, thanks for having me. Good luck with everything.
Yes.
Bye, Ruth.
Bye.
Bye, Ruth.
And
Jump out
go for it.
Get on with things, but it was nice meeting y'all. Have a great afternoon, evening, morning, etc.
Good seeing you, Jen.
Yeah, of course. It's good
Nice to meet you.
We will see you again.
Meet you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. We'll switch gears over here. I'd like to bring Abby into the loop here, because Abby, I think we've known each other for a few years too, but we don't see each other very often.
No.
We did at the beginning, and then things have changed, and now we're back, and all these things. But an amazing store owner in Elk Grove area, which is just down the road. And we've been working with her and her husband for a few years now. And again, another driving force in this community. So I'm going to put this over to you. Hi.
All right. So I'm Abby. I'm the owner of Tables and Tales. My husband and I took it over from George Horch, if any of you guys know him. It was the game room for a while, and then we took it over. Now it's Tables and Tales. Yeah, we do a lot of role-playing game, a lot of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. We have a huge night for that. We almost fill up the entire store. We do sometimes turn people away. It's so huge, and we do it once a week. And so it's going fantastic. We started adding games to Saturday nights and Friday nights. We have a few Pathfinder games, and hopefully once all this is over, I'm hoping to start Alien. So if any of you guys have looked into the Free League game Alien, I'm hoping to start running that once all this is over and we can start getting together again. So I'm super excited about that. Of course, we do Magic. I have a huge Magic community who are just like the most fantastic guys ever. They really take care of me. They're always asking me if I need anything. So it's been really kind of a joy for me to be a part of the family that is at that store, because it's not, I wouldn't even say that they're necessarily a community. They're more like family. So I think it's really important that you guys kind of join us too, and we can make this even more of a family, bigger. And I always try to, if I don't have it at my store, I definitely try to find out if another store has it in the area, and I'll point customers towards other stores. So I'm not necessarily a fixture of everything, but I usually know who has it and where to get it. So I might send somebody over to A1, or I might send them over to Great Escape, or whatever store I think might have it. So I'm definitely not, I don't know how to explain it so much. It's more like we're a big community, and it's important that we share what we have and point people in the right direction to where they need to go.
Yeah, it keeps us sane. Let's be real.
Hey Abby, are you located in the same space that the game room was? I haven't been there since like 2016, which was 1,000 years ago, and in the before times when we could still go to physical locations.
No, we actually moved the store. It's off of Bindle Place, which is off of Waterman, south of Elk Grove Boulevard. We're kind of in the back in some like car warehouses, which is kind of weird, but the rent there is super cheap. So I have like 2,100 square feet of space. Pay like it's super cheap. So it ends up working out, because making ends meet with the situation that was going on prior to all this was a little bit difficult, so we ended up having to leave that location. But we've got a huge space now, and we're working on it slowly. It's going, but it's been fun. I really enjoy the people that come in that are regulars, and helping them find what they need, or just playing games or doing whatever. It's definitely an interesting thing. It was not what I initially signed on to do, but definitely I am enjoying it, and I miss it. Like desperately, I miss being at the shop and playing with people, or helping them find a game, or just catching up with the regulars. And I miss them, and we've been on Discord and stuff hanging out, but it's not the same.
No, and I think that's our big challenge right now, right? But I think all of us were still chasing our dream, right? So as we're chasing our dream, we hold on to our day job and everything. Then some of us just like say screw it and pull the trigger. Let's just do this. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. And I appreciate the fact that you stepped up when everything was, the community was not in disarray, but the community there was having some troubles, and you're like, okay, let's get together, guys. Let's play some more games. Let's find a building. Let's figure this out. And I think that's what we've found out as our community works together, is we have one huge superpower. It's tenacity. It's like, just don't stop gaming, and just don't stop getting together. Don't stop figuring this out. And I think that's where our big drive is. So thank you so much, Abby, for what you're doing in the community. And also, you work in the schools there too. So
I do. I've been a lunch lady for like 10 years. This is the most difficult thing I've ever gone through. I just interviewed for a full-time position for my old job back that I left right before all this started. And so I was working like 80-some hours a week, which is crazy amount of time. And then to go from that to nothing has been, I'm just like, okay, what can I do? But the time has given me a good, I can actually research games now and look into things that are, I wasn't able to do before because I was working so hard. But yeah, it's it's been actually kind of nice, but at the same time, I really, really miss the shop. I don't necessarily miss serving lunch and breakfast to the kids so much as I miss the shop. So that's, right. I think the biggest thing for me is I wasn't sure right before all this if I was going to keep it open or what I was going to do, because it was just so much, it was so time consuming. And now that I'm here and I don't have anything to do, that's the thing that I miss more. And so, you know, the guys have been calling me, are you guys going to reopen? How are you guys doing? Can we give you money? Can we, you know, what's going on? And, you know, we're going to reopen, so that's not an issue. It's been pretty crazy, but because of the low rent and the because I had like downsized everything and made it as cheap as possible and was taking a lot of the stuff on myself, it isn't hard for me to take money that I already had, and I don't have to take out a loan or do anything crazy. Just keep the business open for a few months with, you know, little income coming in. So we've got eBay going, and I'm doing deliveries right now. So if somebody wants something, they can call me and I'll see if I have it. I have some stuff online that you can look at. And then I've got lists of cards where my guys are usually, and so they can get singles from me or whatever. And I just I invoice them through email, and then I just drop it off at their house. So super simple.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, a lot of people have gone to the delivery thing, which is awesome. But I having you and this community together, we're gonna get through it. We always do. Gamers always do. But no, thank you for that, because I know that that's how we kind of met, was through the games and through the shop there that was you guys were part of. So super exciting. Yes, and I'm loving seeing the pets roll in and roll back out. This is amazing. This is what it should be, right? I was like, I'm surprised that you haven't heard, I don't know, they were playing Luigi's Mansion or something over there a little while ago and getting all excited. But so yeah,
I had to go get mine off the counter. So
this is RPG. That's her name.
RPG.
Nice.
I'm obsessed.
Abby mentioned something while she was talking, and once everyone's had their moment to talk, I would love to just go around and see if anybody has discovered something new while they've had more time to do that.
Let's do that. That's great. That's a great idea.
I like, after everybody has had their, you know, moment to shine, like, I just
let's do that. I would love that. Let's anybody on time constraint? Jake, you good?
Well, let me just jump in real fast. Scooter, I'll take my time and drop out of here. So for those who don't know me, I'm Jake. I'm what Scooter turns to when Scooter says, can we run some Magic events, Magic the Gathering events, that is. I can't do card tricks. Well, that kind of card trick. And so I just actually wanted to say thank you to A1 and Tables and Tails with Abby. When we were heading into the event, I called around just trying to get some cards so people can come to the event and have fun. Abby was great. She offered some product for us to draft, which was some pretty premium product at the time, those mystery boosters. So we're not holding you to that, Abby. We'll figure it all out when the time comes. But just look forward to running some events when it's time for pull-ups to occur, and we'll be there and look forward to seeing everybody then.
Yeah, this dude, again, everybody, I love when people do like self-promotions, because they always sell themselves short. They really do. It's like the amazing things that Jake is part of. When we moved here into Sacramento, I had nobody to game with, right? And I had my kids. We had 3 kids, and we had no place to go. Kind of, we're like trying to explore game shops and stuff. And there was this little tiny game shop, like I think a mile or 2 from my house, and we're like, okay, I guess we'll go in there. And Jake was there. He wasn't working there, but he was putting on, hey, I'm teaching kids how to play Magic the Gathering. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? So I forced my kids into it because they've never played. They were quite a bit younger then. That's 7 years ago, I think now, and put him into that, and yeah, he's the one that taught my kids how to play Magic, got them back into it, and still to this day, now that my older daughter that's at home is 16, about 17 years old, still is in love with Magic the Gathering. And if I'll give her anything, and she's like, yes. She goes through it. She has a big Ajani freaking Magic card on her wall, and it's the one thing that really, when her and I sit down and play together, really brings out that 16, 17-year-old smile that you don't see all the time. If we have kids and we've all been teenagers, it's not always there. But Jake has been a huge part of that. And when it comes to like putting on these Magic the Gathering drafts and those things, because I don't understand it that well. I love playing it, but I don't know all the rules and stuff. But Jake always steps up and sits in there and does stuff. And plus his wife is actually on our board of directors for our nonprofit also. So, and we all met through gaming together. So it's been an amazing trip. So thank you, Jake. And I know that you're also full-time important day jobs and stuff like that. So it's like he does this to help, just out of the kindness of his heart. And he really likes playing Magic. So that's a big part too.
That's true. I do. I do. So just wanted to say hi to everybody, and I will see you when we get to hold the event.
Yes.
So
thanks,
Jake.
Yep.
See you soon, man. So yeah, now Jake. Anybody on time constraints? I'm going to say that probably 15 more times. Okay. So
I tried to invite Jason, by the way.
Yeah. Well, here's what I got to say. We're all very creative human beings. And sometimes as creative human beings, we're hard to pin down. Let's be real. So if people actually show up and they're creative and they don't have somebody doing their schedule for them, that's amazing. So it's a huge, no, realistically, I love Jason. We've known each other for years now. And Jason Dewey is basically the founder of Scattered Comics. Mm-hmm. And they've been publishing here out of Sacramento for what, 26 years? Or is it 27 now?
It's 27 at least, yeah.
27, yeah. So here locally, so local artists and then also artists around the world. So yeah, if he can pop in, he has the link in his email. Let him come on in. Who wants to go? Who wants to say something? I know there's some people that are getting excited to say something. There we go. Peter's in.
Peter number 2.
Peter, no, I'm. So
sorry, Peter.
I guess I'm a toy maker, right? Game maker, and I did this game last year, Bike Route Sacramento.
Yes, sir.
And, I knew you looked familiar. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
we talked, and Abby, you've got this down to your store, I think. It's been great. They came out in November, and had a great winter, and think I sold about 600 copies. Things are going well, and now all my retailers are shut. So that's all stopped. So it's been kind of nice because my job of hustling for sales all the time is kind of stopped. And I don't actually like that job. That's not my job. I want to make new games. I don't want to sell the old games. So I've been working on all kinds of projects. It's been super. Bike Route, I think, will come back next fall. We have another Christmas season coming up in October, November, and I'm going to go back to all the retailers, and we're going to move a whole another 500 games or whatever. But now I've kind of been forced to have this change of pace, which has actually been really great. My kids are here. We're playing a lot more games, which has been really great. And a lot of my old projects kind of are coming back. Lots of games in the hop I'm working on. So, but one thing that did happen recently, I went to Gamma Trade Show, and that was right before the whole disaster came down, and met some great indie distributor guys. And they have opened up all these avenues for me, like, don't you have any old games in your warehouse? Why don't you dig them out? Let's sell all those old games. Let's put them back up on the internet and get all that old stuff going again. And they're like, what's your next game? And that's been actually really great to step away from Bike Route and start thinking about, can I move old product? What's tomorrow's look like? And working on that and stuff. Cool. Yeah. And the other thing, to answer Peter number 1's question, Board Game Arena, which is like an online board game place, has been great for reconnecting with kind of lost remote friends. That's happened in the last couple of weeks. We got a guy in New Zealand. We're playing games with him every day or every couple of days. Boy, that's been fantastic.
Yeah, I'd love to go. Like you were saying, YOLO, Peter, about at the end, like what have we rediscovered? What have we discovered since we've been having to do this? I think that'd be a great moment for that too. And then, let's say bike route, Peter. You want to do that? Bike route, Peter.
Because bike route is we're doing all kinds of new stuff now.
I know.
Yeah, but I will say, like, before we move on from bike route, like that game is super fun.
No, we played it just the other night. Yeah.
And I brought my daughter to the brewery one day just because I had some work to do, and I sat down with her, and she was able to figure it out. It was intuitive and simple and really fun, and especially being from Sacramento, like. It's always like I have got there's like the Sacramento version of Monopoly, which is fun, but like it's the same sort of thing where it's like you get to see all the different like spots that
It's still
really
Monopoly.
Cool. It worked really well as well.
I gotta say, we did get the YOLO on the game.
Yeah.
Finally,
it's way over on the side.
It's pretty tiny, but it did get in there, so I'm super happy about that.
Yeah, but it really is. It's a really fun game. If anybody else has
there we are.
There it is.
Way on the edge. It is really fun though. Thank you for sending us a copy of that. It's really great. People have been really digging it in the tap room. Not recently, but when it first.
The game, I had it. I got some stores to take it, and I thought, great. And they're not going to sell, and nobody's going to buy it, and it's going to totally flop. And that didn't happen, which was super fun. The stores were like, we sold out our case. Give us another case. And I bring another case, and it just kept going. And so I was like, great, it's not a flop. Yay!
That's what we all hope for. It's like, just don't flop, right?
Yeah.
But no, we've played it here a few times because I homeschool and my 12-year-old son. Now we kind of homeschool everyone, but all three of them. But part of my curriculum is take a board game, you sit down with it, you learn how to play it by yourself, and then you need to be able to teach it to others. So that's a full-on part of my curriculum, the way I teach. So that was one of the ones that he did, and it was super intuitive. He could get through the rules were like structured very well, and I'm a big advocate of that. Is if the rules are convoluted, I'm like, find it on YouTube. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. But these ones, no, it was just boom, and we started to play within like probably 10 minutes. So it was really, really fun, and I'm excited to see all the other stuff that you're gonna that you're doing, because I know that the stuff that you're part of, the video game industry and those types of things. We'd love to hear about those too. So cool. All right. So, Satine,
hi.
You want to chime in? You got this beautiful new setup at your house now.
Yeah, I'm actually just on my MacBook.
That's crazy awesome.
Yeah, it's nice, right? I do have a ring light. I'm cheating. And there's this thing in the sky I haven't seen in a really long time called the sun.
The sun?
Yeah.
It came out over here too. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Hallelujah. Hi everyone. I'm Satine Phoenix. I've been playing D&D for 32 years, and I'm from Citrus Heights.
Right?
I used to go hang out at Birdcage Walk back in the 90s. I don't remember the name of that game store. What is the name of that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Comics and Comics?
Comics and
I
Comics.
think it was Comics and Comics. Yeah.
There's also Gateway Comics and Games.
Yeah, I kind of went through a couple different things, but what I remember were all the Vampire the Masquerade shirts up at the top of it. Yeah. So I went from there to San Francisco and to LA, and then I've been running the D&D community out of Hollywood since 2010, and then I went global, realizing that using the ideas that I used in Hollywood, I could do that all over the world. So I was the community manager for Dungeons and Dragons last year. And then I was like, well, I can reach more people if I'm not just, working for that company. So now I usually what I do is I go to different countries and different cities and rally their community so that they can see how many people are in their community, and then they can do what you guys are doing naturally. Because a lot of people don't know how many people are actually playing in their community. So I just like to give them access to each other, and then I fly away, and then they flourish, and everything's wonderful. But also, I'm a professional dungeon master. I run 7 games a month on my Patreon. but also I'm like a life coach, a dungeon master coach, and a player coach, and do a lot of one-on-one. I help people with stories. I help businesses with storytelling for marketing. I'm also a comic book artist, a writer, an author, an illustrator. So I do all the things. Right now, I didn't have much of a problem converting because I travel so much. I took my entire business virtual. So, that way I can run my games in Milan or in Canada or wherever it is I'm traveling to. And so this conversion was more natural for me. But now that I'm not traveling, I have all this time to make more games. So my boyfriend and I have been quarantined together, and I think we should be ready for the play test of our very first campaign on Monday. And so in a couple weeks, we have like a mini series we're coming out with. And I also if you guys haven't seen them, I run a bunch of shows. So I am the host of GM Tips on Geek and Sundry. So I do a lot of like advice stuff, like dungeon mastering and storytelling advice stuff. GM Tips on Geek and Sundry, the Dungeon Master's Guide on the Dungeons and Dragons Twitch and YouTube channel. I run Sirens of the Realms. It's an all bard band. It was an all girl bard band, but my friend Jason Charles Miller is like, I don't want to play. So I was like, okay, fine, you're the ally. And so that's on that. Season 4 starts, I think, in a couple weeks, whenever we can actually get everyone together. And yeah, I live and breathe Dungeons and Dragons, and I've got a big old tattoo, ampersand tattoo on my neck.
Oh, wow.
My longest relationship, and I'm completely obsessed with it.
Cool.
So that's who I am. If you want to buy my comics, if you want to look at my art, I wrote a book called The Action Heroine's Journey. It's the hero's journey based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs for the female perspective. So Action Heroine's Journey, and all that is on burningquill.com. I run a global community called Gilding Light. So if you go to Gilding Light's Twitter, you can get to our Discord, and it is like the safest place on the internet. We all are very supportive of one another. It's pretty wild. They started, so like people from literally all over the world get together and they play over Zoom and Discord, and that's really beautiful. I'm also writing a book on, I do a lot of things. I'm also writing a book on how D&D helped me through PTSD. So that it's, I had to pause writing it because while you're going through a new kind of PTSD or a new kind of trauma, it's hard to write about old trauma. So that one's on hold. But I also run a yearly charity called Celebrity Charity 20, where we raise money for childhood literacy. I think I have ADHD. Now that I'm saying all these things.
That's another superpower, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm using my powers for good.
I think your dance card is full.
There's still at least like 20 more things I could fit on it.
Yeah,
I don't
20
have
more
to travel.
minutes in a day you could fit into.
You'd be amazed on how many things you can do if you don't have to put pants on.
Seriously.
Even more so now.
Right, especially now. My business card is a scroll, right?
Yeah. So I am doing one more thing. I'm working with Roll20. We're doing a new show. It comes out in a couple weeks called Game Advice with Satine Phoenix. And we actually came up with this in January because I had this feeling. I'm like, I think we're going to go virtual very soon. And they're like, okay, cool. So what did I do? I looked for a venue to hold this show. And then that venue went under. And then I found another one. And then quarantine happened. So we contacted each other and we're like, guess what? Now's the perfect time for this. So it's essentially game advice for people who have been playing forever, like most of us here, who are trying to convert to the digital format without being overwhelmed and turning your game into a digital game. Really, it's like keeping the storytelling aspect, keeping that pacing and flow, and also utilizing things like Roll20. You can use maps, but how do you use the maps so that your players aren't focused on playing Diablo? Right? Yep. So that is my new show that's coming out.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for all that you're doing because we talk about that. I think people that embrace their ADHD and just own it. My wife and I were talking about this, and I was like, I'm glad I have it because I feel like I'd be like a supervillain if I didn't have ADHD. because I would pick one thing and just go for it, and I was like, oh, we can chew this. And so the ADHD is actually good. I've used it, and I don't want to fix it. I want to embrace it. So I applaud you for all of the amazing things that you've done, because huge fan of everything you've done as a human being. That's kind of who I am first, is like, as a human being, you're an amazing human being. And out of amazing human beings comes amazing things for other human beings. And I'm like, oh, so.
Can I connect a few dots here?
Yeah, let's do it.
So Team, what you're talking about, and Scooter, what you're talking about, to add in kind of what I do. If you ask kids, high school kids, the best way they want to learn, 65% of them, and this is the highest percentage, want to learn through collaboration. And so being able to teach them a game or get them started on a story or something like that, and how you do that and how those rules, then have that person, right, teach another kid, that is how they like to learn overall.
Yeah.
That's huge.
We talked about that in one of our professional development things. And then that's where I changed everything that I did in my classroom to be a lot more collaborative, either paired up, small group, things like that. And you just get so much more engagement that way.
Yeah, and that's actually the same with, like, not curing, but rewiring the brain through PTSD. Is the collaborative learning actually overwrites a lot of the negative thoughts that people have. So like for kids, for adults, this is all so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. And doing this in the schools is a great starting point. But the people that in our age, or that were already, of course, we're all out of school, but we didn't have that opportunity because it was frowned upon. A lot of us in our when we got it, 30s and 40s. Me being 47 this year, it's like you kind of go, that was never something, wasn't even an opportunity for me.
We're all Gen X here, right?
Yeah, most of us. But I want to give this a quick segue. There's not as many as you'd think, but I want to do that as
next month.
There. Yes, 40s are the best. I'll say that after I turn 50. I'll say 50s are the best.
No, they're not.
This is a good segue though, because I want to pull in Michael Panish at this because he does have to get out of here in a little bit. But Michael Panish is he runs our Tuesday night stream, which we use a lot of Magpie games stuff there. But he's also a local author, published author of over a dozen books, and he also is an amazing part of the RPG that we published that are for kids, for social and emotional health, that we have in 2 schools. We teach that class in a school that he's actually a teacher in, and in that school he runs a D&D club. So another amazing human being. So Michael, maybe I said everything, but I really doubt it.
I think you might have. Yeah, so I'm Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hello there. If I can get this book, if I can get the
It's just dice as far as the eye can see.
There it is.
All right. So this is the book that I published just last month. Kind of a steampunk action adventure with talking animals in Victorian London.
What's it called?
It is called Ape's Honor.
I need that.
It's on Amazon.
It is on. I'll go ahead and post the link to my. I'll post the Amazon page for it.
Yeah, please do. My daughter will love it.
No, it's great. I've only read like the first chapter thus far, so my ADHD kicked in, and I was like, oh, let's do something else.
A running theme with us.
Jeez. But yeah, Michael, you also, it's the D&D club there, because you're a teacher there at the school, and you're publishing all these books. How do you feel like that? Like what Keith was saying up there about collaboration and those types of things at your school?
Oh, I can definitely see it. And I think, like, thanks to Time and Tabletop, we have at my school like a good core of students who need those RPGs. So when this happened, I was able to kind of step up, and now that's like a big part of my job at the school now, is arranging and hosting these like D&D meetings for kids through Zoom.
Cool.
And I've had a few of them already. I've had Dungeons and Dragons and Pugmire. I don't know if anyone's heard of that game.
Yes. It's so cute. Oh, I can't even handle it. It's the cutest.
It is. It is a huge hit. Let me see if I got the background over here.
You have a Pugmire background. It's amazing.
I do. I was like, yeah, here we go.
Internet just exploded.
Nice.
Yeah, big fan of Pugmire and Monarchies of Meow, which is the cat version.
I did not know about that.
No, I didn't know that either. I knew the Pugmire. I didn't know the other one.
I got it right here. You know, as soon as if they got dogs, they gotta have cats.
It's blending into the background.
I'm gonna fix it here so you can see it.
Thanks.
There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, so Monarchies of Meow is kind of like a spin-off sort of sequel where there's cats. Totally compatible, so you can have dogs and cats adventuring together.
Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria.
Here we go. I like this one too.
That's so amazing. Yeah. This
I've been
guy.
doing one Pugmire game, one D&D game. I'm trying to figure out a way to do other like lesser known games and have a day when kids themselves can like step into the driver's seat and become like the game master, because that's something that you know, I've been in like game mastered by like kindergartners, and they can be they're interesting, but they really love doing it. It's a great way for them to collaborate and to show that creativity.
Cool.
I do remember that one time we did a couple times. We went down there and set up a little booth there to show the kids that we have games and all those kind of things, and we'll come out and bring them to them. But the coolest thing that I got out of that, I don't know if Ryza was there that night, but we were introduced to this young child. I think he was third grade. He was the DM in the school, and that gave him like cool status. And I was just dying because I'm sitting here going, oh my God, I wasn't even allowed to play D&D as a kid. I wasn't allowed to do all those kind of things in certain games. But now I'm going to this school that Michael runs the D&D club, that this kid is considered the cool kid in this whole school because he's the dungeon master at that school. And I'm like, such poise, this guy. What was that kid? What's that guy's name? Kyle? Was it Kyle, or do you remember? It was a couple years ago, but the coolest thing I've ever seen. Just walking around with a little bit of a strut, and everybody's like, oh yeah, he's the game master in the school. And I'm like, what is happening right now? I would love it.
We did it.
Yeah.
We did it, guys.
The tides are changing, and I mean, it's still rough, but it's still for a lot of communities and all different things. But oh my goodness, it's so cool. So, thank you.
My kids are playing D&D now, which I feel like a successful parent because I've got them both on it, and they've been playing on Zoom, and I can kind of eavesdrop on them now, and it's so fun to listen to their adventures and what they're talking about and stuff. Really good stuff. So I think we did win.
Yes, I think
we're a better DM. My kids would be playing too.
We are winning, yes. But seriously, thanks, Michael, for all the stuff that you put in there, and please check it out. We have another kind of little show that we do. It's a podcast and all stuff that Ryza and I do, called Off the Dice, where we sit down with like local creators and local community members, and we just talk about random crap and get to know you. But we're going to change it into a more of a live format. So next Friday night, Michael's going to be a returning guest, because last time we sat there and goofed around and had really
terrible jelly beans.
Yeah, we had some.
Birdie Bots every flavored bean.
Yeah, we had some nasty tasting
Nightmare
things.
fuel.
It was fun. It was super fun. But we're going to sit down and talk a little bit more focused on your book and talk about that next Friday. So catch that if you'd like. We will be there. So let's switch gears a little bit. I want to say first, welcome, Jason. We mentioned you. Jason Doobie's right there in the corner there.
I was listening to this. I was outside trimming a tree, and I was listening to you guys, and then I heard you guys talking, and I was like, I better jump in there and say hi to everybody.
Well, hi.
It sounds like you guys are having a great show. I love the music that you're playing in the background. Everyone's got great things to say, and I'm just glad to see everyone's staying healthy and safe out there, and we're still pushing on our dreams, right?
Yes, that's why we're all here. We're still having this, so we may have other people popping in and out, once we get through everybody here, I think YOLO Peter wants us to go into a different direction, but I'm down for whatever. Okay. Let's go to Keith here. We were talking about, the being as a child and not being able to play, and then the growth of this, and now it's cool. Keith, you've been through it like the rest of us, so you've been a storyteller here in Sacramento for how long?
Since I got here. I started playing D&D when I was 10 years old in Southern Illinois, and when I went to GaryCon for the first time, I saw you there, Satine. I fell in love with your hair, and so when I went to GaryCon for the first time, I got to meet some of the Lake Geneva crowd, and some of the old timers said that where I grew up in Carbondale was kind of like their southern satellite Lake Geneva. So I never realized that I was in one of the epicenters of early gaming growing up in Southern Illinois. So I've been doing that. Have been doing this for 40 years next summer.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and I went through all of the all of the satanic panics and all of that craziness. And I have kids. I raised them on Dungeons and Dragons. They're all almost grown now. My daughter graduates high school, if graduations are still a thing after this. This year. So and she plays D&D. My son made his first character when he was 8. He was a elven ranger named Skullface. First name Skull, last name Face, the child of Mr. and Mrs. Face. And I still have his character sheet. So that was years and years ago, and I started off trying online gaming. Well, not online gaming, but streaming last year. And we did that monthly for about 8 months. And then we lost the studio that we were streaming out of. So I am now homeless as regards to where I'm going to stream next. And then COVID-19 hit. So now I've got plenty of time. And I'm trying to learn how to, do remote streaming with remote players from around the world, sort of like what Steam does, I think.
We could talk about it. I'll help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, and I'm working on my hermit beard, and I'm slowly but surely painting through that giant pile of abandoned plastic that is, everybody's pile of shame. So I've been making monsters and such, and working on campaigns. I've been developing settings. I'm kind of an underachiever, which is why I'm overcompensating, because I don't have a brewery, and I haven't and I haven't published anything.
Hold on.
I have tons of notebooks full of stuff, but nothing's been published. So
a driving force. This guy right here. It doesn't matter what game store you talk about in Sacramento, they know who this guy is. He has. I think pretty much you've game mastered at almost any and every location here in Sacramento, it feels like. So, and you've even come on our channel. You ran an evening of Traveler on Time to Tabletop. You've come to some of our D&D and RBG events that we had years ago at before Tables and Tales, when you guys were over there. It was called the Game Room then, and you were over there when that was starting up, and you were over there running some Middle Earth stuff, if I don't recall, if I can recall. So huge driving force in the community, and that's what we're trying to do, is like get these people some recognition for the grind that we all actually do to make sure that this community stays alive. And it wouldn't be alive without human beings like you, Keith. That is for sure. So that's a big part of thank you so much for doing that and doing it all the time. You're consistent, that tenacity, like I was saying, you stick with it, and we keep going forward. I want to give a couple little shout outs before we switch over to the next person. That Kyron can't join us, but he's from Taurus Comics. He was just messaging me over here and saying, hey, this is awesome, I'm listening, I just can't join right now. But he's also a local comic book publisher and author and writer and cartoonist and all that great stuff here. And I know that you guys, Jason and Keith, you know him, working together with him, scattered, knowing him here in Sacramento. So yeah,
he's all over the social media too.
Yeah, he's really gotten into it lately too. I think he's TikToking these days even.
Wow. See, I don't even know what that is yet.
Oh, you start and you can't. I mean,
no,
I'm now addicted. I'm totally addicted.
You want to talk about a rabbit hole? Holy smokes!
It's like Disneyland in your phone. It's the happiest place on earth.
What?
People are capable of so much awesome, and it's all in one app.
Yeah,
I like that. So much awesome.
And it's quick. It's just like whoa, and then next whoa. Yeah, it's like overload. Yeah, it is like seriously.
Into your phone, or is
it is?
Yes,
it's like a social media thing,
right?
Oh.
Except I use it to consume, right?
Yes.
Because people like couples will do dances together, and then like
I have seen those videos. Yeah,
that's where they live.
They live. Go to where they live. So
all right, I'll have to check that out.
I just want to give him a shout out, and because I know he wanted to be here, and he will be part of the expo. He was there last year, and will be there again this year. And there's a kind of just a few people that I want to make sure that they get some recognition. There's some more musicians that will be there. Natomas Evolution is still going to be there, and if nobody knows who they are, they're from Natomas here, but it's still part of Sacramento. But it's a music school, and the teacher there, they usually teach a full album of music to their students, and then they perform them here live in Sacramento. And one of my daughter's best friend was part of that school, and we saw them at Big Sexy Brewing last October. And they did Fleetwood Mac, a whole Fleetwood Mac set. And I was like, this is so amazing. We've got to have these guys. And they said, heck yeah. By then, we'll probably be doing, I think what they're going to be doing, I think Coldplay. I think they're going to do Parachutes, I think, is what they're looking at doing that album. But we don't know. Things could change. But that's what they were working on while this was going on. So they'll be doing that, plus some live poetry reading. The guy, Zach Bowman from last year, he will be there with his guitar. Girls Rock Sacramento, they have offered to be there also. So there's a lot of those amazing humans, again, here in Sacramento. I just want to make sure they get a little plug, even though they couldn't join us today. They are joining us for the expo when we come out there. So switch over gears. So let's talk to Riza. Who's this Riza? I know her. I know her.
Oh, there she is.
Hi. I keep muting myself.
And raising her hand. Her hand
yeah.
keeps boop. Like,
I don't know how to use Zoom, so I keep accidentally pushing stuff, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what's happening. But they're playing Final Fantasy in the other room, so I keep muting it because it gets like a fight spot, and it's out. So.
That sounds way better than this. Can you just point your camera to what they're doing and
yeah,
watch them play?
let's just sit here and watch.
Yeah, let's just go watch.
This is now just a Final Fantasy remake live stream.
Yeah, we're just watching Final Fantasy now. That's all it is. Yeah. What are we supposed to be talking about? Who we are? What we're doing?
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yikes. Okay. Worked with Time Tabletop, event person, captain of the party because I am mildly obsessed with pirates. Yeah, I'm just a huge person on mental well-being and positivity. So at any chance possible, I just try to spread as much positivity and well-being that I can. And we do a podcast. It's pretty ridiculous. Ask some weird ass shit, but yeah, there you go.
What's your podcast?
The Off the Dice.
Oh.
Yeah, her and I have been doing it. We started in 2018, and we just finally got our second season going, and then now we're in isolation. So we're going, okay, well, we're going to do it anyways. Screw you guys.
Do it live.
We're going to do it live next Friday.
Yeah, we're going to bring Michael back.
That'll be exciting.
And I know on this season we did have YOLO Peter was on there. That was a very fun time.
Yeah, Rice, you want to talk more about sandwiches and hot dogs?
Yeah.
And that's another thing.
30 minutes.
Yeah, with
that
Riza.
was a ridiculous 30-minute debate.
I mean,
Again,
debate is a loose term for what we
Oh
have.
yeah.
That got. I've never heard a more heated conversation, but
It was great.
over hot dogs and sandwiches. But Riza is also her day job is working in food service and like at a grocery
work
store.
at a grocery store,
So
I know.
this has become like double, triple time for her right now, and gets to see the heat of what's going on out there, and still spreads that positivity and happiness and reaches out to people. Hey, you guys doing okay? You need anything? Is everything going? I mean, I just got that text like 2 nights ago, and I was like, this human being. I was like, I'm good. I actually doing okay, and I'm just glad that you're one of the advocates that are going out there and asking people if they're okay, because not everybody is, even if they think they are. They don't know.
Check on young people.
Yeah. So and you've always been like that, not just right now. This is just something that's part of who you are, and I think that's really cool to have that. But yeah, again, somebody that I met gaming, and then just happens to like to play Magic and likes to play games, and we like to talk to people, so we got together and started a podcast.
We talk about ridiculous things. I'm not afraid to keep talking and
make it stupid,
pulling the weird out of people.
Yeah.
Like the Scattered Expo.
We're big on that.
Yeah, dumpster diving.
Dumpster diving. We talked about dumpster diving way too much.
Yes.
Like nobody should talk about dumpster diving as much as we did that day. But we
That
made it
was
a hot
amazing.
subject. Yeah.
That's a good segue too. I was like, hey, let's talk to Jason then, because since you guys talk about dumpster diving and you already have that.
I'm pondering the whole hot dog sandwich thing now. I'm like, are they talking about what's better? And then I really started. I mean, I was listening to you too, Riza, but I was really started thinking about the hot dog sandwich thing.
I mean, let's do it. Let's get into it. Here's a hot dog, a sandwich. Let's do this.
Tacos fall into this, though. This is what I gotta know.
Oh, come on. Something that's not. Oh no.
Oh yeah, tacos.
What I
right
would
in that
say-
conversation.
What I would say before the segue is do check out all the Off the Dice episodes, but do check that one out because that one got great.
Yeah.
Is there a link you could drop in to find it?
Yeah, we'll find it.
Yeah, send us a link out.
Because I'm tech illiterate and I need all the help I get.
Because even if you went on to like Spotify and just searched Time to Tabletop, we've got our Off the Dice on there and stuff. But Riza probably has some links. But Jason, who the heck are you? Who are you?
Who am I? Jason Doobie, Scattered Comic Books publisher. I guess CEO, but not really. Basically, I started Scattered Comic Books about 27 years ago to just do a self-published comic book, and did that for a while. Went to things like the 8Con, had my little Xerox comic books. Back then, I only put one staple in the corner, so it was almost like a pamphlet, not really a comic, but as years went on, I started learning how to do a little bit more professional looking comic books. And Keith, you might have to help me here. The last 7 years, we started expanding from not just my own comic books, but reaching out to other creators for them to bring their comic books into the fold, and we kind of all help each other as a group now. So it's not like I'm a company, a dictator, I'm telling everybody what to do. It's more like we're all come together under a banner, and we are just pursuing that dream together.
Yeah, I mean, it was through Jason, that I was sort of, got into the whole world of comic books and really in the first place, because you pick up a comic book and you say, wow, this is incredible, all this, the writing and the story and everything like that, right? I mean, you look at it afar and it's like, that's not attainable, right? But then Jason comes along and says, yeah, it is, man. You got a dream, let's put it out there. If you got a story, let's put it out there and stuff.
It's all doable. You can do everything, especially with all the technology now and the print on demands and stuff. It's so much easier to do these things. So TikTok might be helpful too. I'll have to check that out. I don't know what that's about yet, but everything can help you pursue your creative endeavors, I think.
Yep.
So then I met Keith. I met Keith going to the school that he teaches at. He does something called it's like creative writers meet creative artists, and they put together their own comic books.
Yeah.
And so he invited me to come over and speak to the students, and that kind of snowballed from there, really, because then after that, you asked me, I got an idea for a comic book. Do you know anybody? How would I do this? I'm like, I run a studio, by the way, so let's talk. And then you made your book, and then we brought it over to the Scattered thing, and yeah, it's just been. And look at you! You got the big Scattered logo behind you. That's amazing. You're more scattered than I am right now.
No, I'm just like that much a little more tech savvy on this end. That's about.
Oh, I got you. You got like TikTok already, don't you?
Daughter does.
Dare you hold out?
So many followers.
I will say though, having Jason and we also kind of cycle through different Scattered artists. James Burton has been there talking to students. Eli Beard has been there talking to students, and it's great to have all these different speakers come talk to the students. And again, I think a lot of them maybe are like a lot of us, like, wow, this is not attainable. I really enjoy doing this, writing or creating or drawing and that kind of thing. And all of a sudden they've got these other creators showing up who've been successful in writing and comics and things like that. It's like, wow, I really can do this, right? Dream does not have to die after high school or something like that. This is something that you can pursue afterwards and that kind of thing. And I think Jason's right that the availability to be able to publish your works and you have all the social media that we're doing now and things like that. It's great for self-promotion, really put it out there and stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I used to I actually made little flyers, and I would physically mail each one out in envelopes, put a stamp on them, and mail them out to the people that sign my mailing list at the conventions. That's what I had to do. By the way, there's a new book coming out. And if I got one person to buy it, one of my little comics back then, that was amazing. But now, you do a social blast on Facebook, Instagram, you just hit them all, and you're reaching them all out at once. And then, I don't know, it's not costing you a bunch of money. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, Keith, I need to cut you off.
No, that's perfect.
It's made it more obtainable for all of us because the overhead cost on that part, of course, has helped out a ton. And I know with Scattered, when you guys mentioned James Burton, he's a big RPG guy. So he's a big D&D guy and plays a lot of old school, new school, whatever, role-playing games. And again, I met him at a small little local convention here. I think it was Avalon. It was at Avalon. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I wanted to go out there and talk to people in the community because I was like, we're doing these events. Let's talk to the people that are part of it. So I sat down. The only comic book artist in this whole event was James. I was like, okay, let's do an interview, I guess. Let's talk to him. And ever since then, Scattered Comics, Time to Tabletop, we all became like, let's just do this all together, guys. We're a family now. So I don't know if he can make it in today. He said he might be able to swing in, but James, he does Damaged Inc. Is
he
his
just came
comic
out with issue 5, I believe.
Yeah.
Of Damaged Inc.
So,
and
it's basically about role playing games. I mean, if you look at it, his characters are very, very role playing game heavy characters.
I'm gonna have to relook at his book now.
Yeah.
With that in mind.
Yeah, well, because it's written on the basis of his friends growing up, and then he made him into these characters. Right. And his friends growing up were all played role playing games together.
He and his sister also have a podcast too called Chaotic Good.
Yes. We are working on getting us more of a podcast network here in Sacramento, to be honest. We're working on that as we speak. So, yeah.
Give James a plug.
There you go.
There it is.
2 different covers.
No, good stuff. I
got no link for him, but you can check scatteredcomics.com should have links to most of his game books.
Yeah, it's cool stuff that you guys have going on there, and these amazing humans will be at the in-person Pull Up a Chair Expo, as they were there last year. As we've just, I think it was YOLO, Peter. We were just talking about it, and you go, screw it, let's just do it here. And so we did it at YOLO Brewing last year,
It was great.
and
It was fun.
It was a much bigger turnout than we thought it was going to be. So we're like, oh, well, let's try it again this year. And we tried it again this year, and everybody wanted to be involved. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a thing. People working together. People working together.
And that we couldn't do it again at the brewery, but excited that it was too big to have a brewery.
Right. I was bummed too. I was sitting there going, it was perfect, but people are not going to be able to fit in here. So I was very excited about. That's a good problem to have. So, yes, thanks, Jason. Because Scattered Comics for the last few years or so have been a huge part of what we've been doing. Also, they helped us publish our RPG for our curriculums. Eli Beard, who Keith mentioned earlier, was the primary artist in the book. Scattered Nexus is his game that Eli has put into the universe, and it's got all of these comic book and it's amazing. I've played it multiple times. My children have beat him multiple times at the game, so it's obviously good. So yeah, you guys have been a huge part of what we're doing and going forward. So thanks for popping in, man. That's a huge deal.
Thank you. There's a tree waiting for me to trim, but thank you for I heard you guys. I was listening to you. I love the show. I was like, oh, I could just be out here all day trimming this tree listening to these guys. So I really appreciate everybody that did this, and Vincent, thank you for putting this together. This
Dude, you got it. And just know that Jason will call me Vincent once in a while. Yes, that's my legal name.
Oh shoot, is it mine not?
No, I'm okay with it. I am. No,
it's Scooter, right?
It is my legal name, and I'm very proud of my legal name. It's just most people just have called me Scooter my whole life. So
that's how you were introduced to me. But for some reason, because your name is Vincent on your Facebook, that's what sticks in my head. Sorry, man.
Don't apologize at any of that. It's my name. It's my name, bro. It's my name.
But now I feel weird.
No, I think I just want everybody to go like, who's this? No,
who the heck is Vincent?
That's this guy.
Dude.
That's this guy. Well,
Who's the one that put this together, not this Vincent.
Who's this jackass? Yep, I've been called that lately too, because I did become a grandfather. What is he? 8 months now.
Wow.
So 8 months ago.
Amazing. Congratulations.
So, it's crazy. Yeah, I did all that.
So the homeschooling's never going to end. Now you got to do your grandchildren.
Right.
Reset the clock.
She's going to send her to me and go, okay, it's your turn to teach her now too.
Nice.
Oh no. But as we come to like AKAs, yeah, they always do. AKAs. let's talk to who's Gray Ghost. I think that's Michelle.
I think it might be.
Let's talk to Michelle.
Hi. Howdy, y'all. Howdy.
Howdy, y'all.
I'm Michelle. I met the lovely Scooter and all these amazing humans in different walks of life. But when I got back into D&D after a 20-year stint, I signed up for a meetup and happened to meet Scooter at, I think it was at YOLO, actually, the first time I ever met Scooter. And he got me involved with the D&D community. And shout out to my local DMs, Rodney and Sean. Thank you guys so much. I'm in like 6 games now in Sacramento. Also shout out to Satine, who's also DM'd for me as well. But that's what I do with my free time, and for my real job, I produce TV commercials, and which is clearly a non-essential occupation right now. So I am entertaining myself by trying to run home games and trying to help get our expo off the ground for whenever it happens in the summer. So, and just doing some focusing on myself. I'm doing the 30-day yoga challenge so far. I'm like 11 days in a row, so I'm really excited about that.
Ooh, that's amazing.
Don't mind the day drinking.
Right on.
The yoga negates the day drinking, so it's okay.
Yeah, you're the net, just like
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Michelle, I'd tell you, I remember meeting you at YOLO. You and your wife walked in. It was like, hey, what is going on here? I haven't played D&D, and I was like, that's why you're here. Let's do this. And ever since then, amazing driving force in the organization of doing what we do. Especially your organizational skills are some of the best I've ever seen. And not only that, but just as a beautiful human being, you actually give a shit about a person. There's a difference between somebody saying, hey, how's it going? And people that actually really are listening, and that's why this community comes together, is because of people like you doing that. And especially don't so she's also on our board of directors on our nonprofit, so she keeps kind of us a little bit more focused than we tend to be. So it's like, okay, but what are we actually doing? I was like, yeah, let me do that. So having that, as a true, like, not just somebody that we work with because we met through gaming and hanging out, like as a true friend, that's a big deal to me. So thank you so much for everything you do and what we keep
Happy
doing.
To be here. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that's here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we love you dearly. Look at that, I even got all frogged up. Okay.
You've clamped. Now.
I'm back. All right.
Oh no.
Choke it down, Scooter. Come on.
The wheels are falling off.
Yes. But I think now that we're down, we've all done our little self-promotion thing. If anybody wants to, I know, let's switch gears then. I know YOLO Peter wanted to talk about something. Okay, go for it.
The natives are getting restless here.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Dude, we love you, man.
Everybody. Thank you. See you later.
See you, dude. We'll see you very soon.
Bye.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know. I don't even know what time it is. It's after
3:40.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
37.
We're good.
Killing it, bro.
We're good. We had a little.
It's not even last call yet.
No, that's not for like 8 more minutes, right? So yeah, I should be doing my day drinking too. I brought my cooler out and having it popped one open. Oh, let's do more. Let's do a little bit more plugs. Let's right before we go into what we've rediscovered. I want to make sure that we give shout outs to the other breweries that are going to be there also. Because last year we did a brew with YOLO and we called it Plus One Charisma. This year we're working with New Glory here in Sacramento, and this one's called Bonus Action. So it's going to be a full IPA there. So we're in the midst of designing label and stuff with them. Plus, we work very closely with At Ease Brewing downtown, very new brewery downtown, and they've been super inviting, and it's a family-owned run business, and we really love them. So support local businesses. My wife and I try and do it once a week. Go out there and buy something local. Like, we don't eat out that often, but actually we've been eating out more often because we're trying to support local. So it's been really cool. So we want to make sure and give those guys a little shout out here.
Yeah, most of the breweries in the Sacramento area are all doing pickup, or even some of them are doing delivery too. Yes. So don't limit yourself just to YOLO, or whatever. But, whatever's closest to you, whoever your usual spot is, I guarantee they're still doing some kind of to-go order. So help us all out.
And they're all just small businesses. Most of them are just families. They got kids running around and trying to make things work. So just want to make sure they are part of the expo also. We have a local Fill Me Up Sack, which is a Filipino food truck that has a little tent that will be there. Every time I said, hey, will this date work? Because we keep moving stuff around. They're like, yes, we'll be there. We were there last year. We love being there. So they're going to be there also.
Yeah, that was super
Just
fun.
a food truck full of lumpia? Because
Yes,
that's what I want.
That's what it is. It's a tent. It's a pop-up tent, and that's seriously.
Which is cool because that was kind of like a last-minute ad last time because we were like, it was like stressing us out, like finding a food truck. And finally, like these guys walked in the door and they were like, "Well, do you have anything?" And I was like, "You want to come next weekend?" They were like, "Yeah, sure."
No, they were super excited. My wife talked back and forth with them, and it's been going really well. So local business is huge. Just want to make sure that those guys are getting. I'm missing names and people because there's so many people involved. But okay. Take it over, Peter. What are we doing now?
Oh,
what are you doing?
Yeah, I just like Abby talking about like having time to research new games and stuff, and that just got me thinking about like, I'm curious like what everybody's either rediscovered that they haven't played in a long time or discovered something new that they wouldn't have otherwise. It just like I started thinking about it. Like I have been re-listening to the entire catalog of the Film Reroll on it's a great podcast where they run movies as they run it in GURPS, but super fun. So I was re-listening to that and just like checking out the subreddit that gets run. And someone mentioned, and I found it on Reddit. And I'll drop it in the chat. It's rules for a little mini RPG based on. Has everybody seen Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf? The video.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll look up that too and drop that in the chat. But there's a great video called Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf, and someone made an entire game system basically out of that video. Because for context, the Film Reroll did the guy who runs it tricked his players into thinking they were running an obscure like 70s teen sex romp movie that no one had ever heard of. Then they were like, okay, whatever, we'll do it. And he was like, oh, don't watch the synopsis because it gives you too much information. He wanted to like pretend like he was running it as a whole, like, oh, I've got this whole romance system that I built for it and secrets. Turns out he was running one of the Friday the 13th movies. And he tricked them into thinking they were not doing that. So someone was saying like, oh, I found this great system where you can do this to your friends. And the whole thing is built on like, you just started as like a weird little, it requires like one die, 1d6 per person to run and a couple tokens. No maps, no minifigs, nothing like that. And it's just like, oh yeah, you're just like doing a quick little like, you're exploring an old amusement park, and then it turns out that it's this actual you're fighting this nigh invincible Shia LaBeouf monster.
Does he drop to all fours and break into a sprint?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll drop in the chat the link to the video which if you haven't seen, it's glorious and amazing. And then I'll drop a link to that set of rules. It sounds like it'd be a really fun, quick, like one session, just mess with your friends kind of a game.
That's awesome. Thanks, dude. I mean, yeah, drop that in there because I'll link it up for us and force my. That's the cool thing about having 3 kids at home. It's a captive audience. You want to test a new game? Not a choice, but we're testing a game. Anybody else? What have you rediscovered? Satine, have you rediscovered anything or?
Well, so I went to Joko Cruise. Right when the whole thing, all the cruises were shutting down. However, it's a big cruise full of nerds who don't really touch each other anyway, so it actually worked out just fine. But I hung out with awesome people, but I reconnected with James D'Amato. James D'Amato is like as excited about gaming as me, but interested in all the other things, like not Dungeons and Dragons, but he also plays Dungeons and Dragons. But like he has this like amount of gaming knowledge I've never experienced before. So every night I'm following him and his partner around like a little cat. I'm like, what are you guys doing? What do you want to teach me? So he ran me through a bunch of things like Super Fight, which I thought was really cool. But my favorite game that he showed me was this card game. I like playing these games to help me with my D&D, with game mastering, or how to like let my players give my players more permission to be more involved in the storytelling. But this one was really cool. It's called Noisy. He made it, James made it, and basically it's for voice actors, right? So it's like a voice actor card game. Well, you don't have to be a voice actor, but so it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity with the card style, where you have one person who plays a card, and then you have phrases and attributes. So you play your attribute on top of the main card, and that card is like an urban druid or a young vampire or whatever it is. So essentially the attribute you add onto it could be a romantic urban druid or a Scottish romantic urban druid. And then you take whatever phrase that you have, and then you have to say like that phrase in that character's persona. And
Nice.
I basically I'm terrible at voices unless they hire me to do a voice for a video game. But that's different. And I'll usually like find a voice for my NPC, and then all the other NPCs have that same accent. But this was fun exercise to like try on different personas. It's kind of like an improv game. So I really, really recommend that for game masters out there who want to like, punch up their skills. Noisy.
Is it noisy persons or just noisy?
I'll look it up. Noisy. It's a card
I found
game.
one called Noisy Persons that looks similar, but not exactly the same.
It might be that one. I think it is. Yeah, I think that's the one. I played the original one, so his looks different than this, but I believe that's what this is.
That's so. I love.
Like it.
It's kind of like the, kind of like an improv kind of thing. It's like here's a, and I love that. I was like, you got to try and do this and move into this. And I know, YOLO Peter, you have done some improv, and I think as game masters, if you've ever played in a game, we've all done improv. So I think it's cool to have a little. I want to see that. I'm really excited.
I'm a stage actor. And I hate the term improv. It makes me cringe. It makes me like panic attack. All of a sudden, I don't know what I'm saying and I can't. But if it's if it's playing a game, then it's not improv. It's just
playing a game.
It is that game, by the way. It's called
Isn't that crazy?
Noisy Persons.
I think we're all there because I love being on stage. I was kind of raised as a teenager in early 20s. I was a musician, so getting on stage was like this is where I can not be so uptight because I'm kind of an introvert, but once you hit that stage you're like, I love this. I could kind of do that. Yeah. Which
you say the word improv and then it's over. The whole
I was like, but I don't know. Yeah, that's me. I think that's most of us. I think that's most of us if we're a role player. I mean, let's be real. I mean, we're like, it's a comfortable place to be whoever you want to be. And I think that's why it was easy to do the RPGs as a social and emotional health for children. It was a lot easier than we thought it was going to be. And I know Abby, you popped up your hand.
Yeah.
Saying,
so for me, as far as what I've kind of been figuring out, so we've been playing a lot of role playing, and I have never actually DM'd before, but so I've got my daughter, our roommate, and my husband, and I've been running a game for them, which is totally amazing. So first time DM, I've been playing probably about 7 or 8 years now, but I haven't ever DM'd, not in any real sense. So that's really exciting for me. So once I get done with quarantine, then I'll be ready to run games for real people, right? So that's pretty exciting for me. I've been back into painting miniatures, and I have something like 25 years of fine arts experience. So I've done sculpture, bronze sculpture, and stuff like that. So I've been painting, and I'm like, how come I don't sculpt minis? Like, that was my big thing. It's like, I'm sitting here, and I've done work with the Foundry before it closed. There was the R Street Foundry over there. I did art shows there, and I did bronze sculpture with them, although they're closed now. I was like, how come I'm not, so I've been researching that, looking at pewter jewelry sculpting, basically, is what it is, because you just use the little pewter models, and it has a lower melting temp, so you can put a furnace in here and melt the metal and do the whole like sand casting and whatnot. So I was looking at that kind of stuff, which is kind of interesting. Just kind of doing some preliminary research and looking back into starting to sculpt again, which is something that I haven't done in probably, I'd say, 12 years or so. So that's kind of interesting, at least for me.
That's so cool. I did see one of I think your husband posted something about look, she did a mini. And
Oh, I have it if you want to see it.
I was like, oh, she's doing it. I just think that's so cool that we're rediscovering what our passions were. We just filled our schedule up with a bunch of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's red.
Wow. It's a big
so cool.
Warhammer piece. It's Age of Sigmar. But yeah, as I was doing this and painting it and putting it all back together, and I thought, how come I don't sculpt these? Like, I have figures that I've done before. I have some really crazy figures that I did, and I sold a bunch of pieces. So I think I only have one of my bronze pieces left. But I was like, how come I'm not sculpting? Like, doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah,
That's amazing work.
That's so cool. I love that. I was like, we really are finding those things that we freaking love to do. I was like, I picked up my guitar the other day, and I was like, oh my God, I haven't picked it up for a year. I was like,
you know? And my daughter has been writing stories, crazy amounts of stories, and she's been drawing pictures for it. And I was just like, oh my God, she is so fantastic. She's been journaling every day and writing a story. She's got a book like this thick. Just, she's completely into it, and she spends probably about 3 or 4 hours a day drawing for her book and writing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
seriously, I love seeing that.
That's great.
And there's authors here. It's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you working on?
Yep.
We do that all the time. It was like,
can't wait for us all to get together, because then she can go and talk to the publisher.
I know. It's
Maybe
like,
look at stuff. She won't let me read it though, so I don't know how good or how bad it is. But I did writing in high school and college and whatnot, so I could definitely polish it for her. I don't want to step on her toes right now though, because she's still kind of in the feeling stage of where she's at as far as writing. So, when she's got something that she wants me to read, then I can kind of help her clean it up a little bit and go from there. Maybe she can publish something. I don't know.
Hey, there's always room at the table.
seriously, and I think that's and like I was talking about Jake earlier, I was like, I couldn't have taught my kids how to play Magic, but Jake could. So it's really nice as a parent. Sometimes your opinion is not well received. So pulling in this community to go, hey, there's a comic book artist and a comic book writer, and there's a couple authors here that will sit down with you and see what's going on there. So I think that's a big reason for this community to exist, is the hand up. Instead of saying you should be doing this, is like, hey, let me give you a shot here. I think that's amazing. She's doing that, and that mini is freaking badass.
I have a lot of fun painting. Painting is probably more fun than sculpting to me sometimes, but I don't always find miniatures that I particularly like. I know that Games Workshop products are really good as far as the miniatures, but there are other games that people get. What I hate about D&D players sometimes is they get super stuck on it has to be a D&D miniature, and it has to be this, and it has to be that. And if I suggest any other game, then they're like, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, I'll pull out a miniature, and they'll be like, oh my God, that's so fantastic. And I go, really, it's from this other game. Just go and sit down and just look at lists of miniatures. Stop focusing on this game or that game. Just look at the miniature. What do you want? I can find it. And then you can kit back too. So if you find a couple things that you like, you can totally put something else together. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's been times where I've had customers come in and ask me for custom pieces, and I'm like, okay, you buy the miniature, pay me $10. I'll paint your miniature and fix it for you, and they'll be happy. It's like, stop! Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in the world of it has to be for D&D, because it doesn't.
And
it doesn't.
I mean, personally, I can go both ways. There's sometimes I was like, no, it has to be all this. That's the only thing we're playing. And I think that was when I did Fantasy Age. I was like, nope, it has to be all Fantasy Age. And then there's other stuff I'm more loose with. It just depends on what it is.
Can't help it. In my head, for some reason, it's like, oh, I want to play that. It's half and then my brain melts and I can't handle it. I don't know why.
No
reason. It's not logical.
This is
does
my
not
large
compute.
minifig here. and this is from the game Malifaux. It is super fantastic though.
What game?
Malifaux. It's a French game. Wow. It's a tabletop like horror game, and they have like vaudeville figures. They have like what is it, like 10 Thunders or something like that, where they've got like these Asian inspired railroad workers, and they've got like the old asylum style stuff, so you can find like nurses and things like that. They've got like these weird wizard guys. I have one. So I have him. He's like a weird wizard.
I have an idea, Scooter.
Yes.
I have an idea. Like, what I'm hearing is everybody is diving into their minis. Can you have an art gallery in the expo?
That's easy. Yes.
And like everyone gets a shelf who wants to participate.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because like I want to see these.
No, it's like seriously, we need to have. Let's make it happen. That's how things happen. Let's just do that.
One of my dungeon masters is a painter. He paints all my minis because I beg him. And it's amazing, also. But like I have them all on display back here. But this is my bard. This is Zep, my bard. He's a freaking amazing painter. But yeah, shout out to Rodney if you're watching.
Rodney.
We can absolutely do that. We should.
Yeah, we really should. We'll put up something like a showcase of minis, and maybe we can encompass Tables and Tales into that. That could be like your art gallery corner in a thing. Well, we want to give, homage to the people who put these things together. So, I'm rediscovering. I can't paint a mini to save my life. I painted one mini of my favorite character I ever played was a bard, and I painted him and I loved it, and I love playing a bard. I always default to a bard. Being a musician, you come up and you're like, I have to play a bard. So I branch out sometimes. But no, I painted it once and I love doing it, and I just won't do it again. It's too much for me. It's just too much. It's like sitting still for that long. And I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So Scooter, I think Abby can probably hook you up with this. That the saving grace for people like you who love to have painted miniatures but just can't sit there are called contrast paints from Games Workshop. And those things are godsends.
They can be. They're super, super great for the novice painter, but then they are the most technical paint. If you're a very experienced painter, they are so vastly ranged when it comes to what you're doing and when you're putting together a miniature that it's fantastic. You just want to slap on some paint and do whatever with it, or you can take a completely painted figure and then throw it on as a wash, and they're so
I love the art of the minis, but I'm also a theater of the mind kind of guy, so it's hard for me to.
So I hit these horses with the contrast yellow over the base coating and all the other stuff, and it kind of like you can get effects like this without like having to spend half your life figuring out how to do it. Yeah, just some contrast paint and a wash, and you are golden.
Okay, Satine, you're yes, this is happening now. We definitely have to do this because it went definitely into it. Because I have one, I'm gonna put him in there. I don't care. I'm gonna put my one little.
I have dozens and dozens and dozens of
I'll have to
painted
find
figures. And just like, how come you don't sell them? And I'm like, because I can't part with my miniature.
No, that's my baby. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead.
When I was growing up, my Aunt Arlita, my dad's older sister, she had like these shadow boxes all through her family room that had like these little cowboy and Indian plastic figures. They were toys, and she had them all set up in little. And so now I have started like these shadow boxes and have started putting my miniatures in my shadow boxes. So like my Aunt Arlita, I now have like little painted miniatures in little dioramas and shadow boxes because I've reached a certain age, I believe. It'll happen to you too.
I'm for sure. Yeah, we are.
I have a huge case. I have 2 cases of miniatures, just full of miniatures, painted, unpainted, various stages.
Yeah, we'll make this happen for sure. We want to make sure that we're gonna put this together. It is running on to 4:00 here in like less than a minute, and we want to make sure and be aware of everybody's time. And I know people have to go do some things, but we want to say a huge thanks for Satine to hang out with us for the last couple hours. It is a pleasure to finally like not just talk to you at a random con or through email or whatever. This has been amazing, and I love getting to know your personality 7 on 7. I don't know,
something there,
something like that. Those kind of things.
Thank you guys so much. This is going to be so much fun.
No, I'm so excited.
We get together. It's going to be amazing. I can tell.
And it's super chill. And I think that's why we all come together this way. But thank you so much for coming by. We might continue to gab on for a couple more minutes. Who knows?
Cool. Nice to meet you, everyone. See you.
Over
there.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
So anybody else, have you guys rediscovered something or something new? I know Peter's really into cooking right now. But
Scrabble?
Anybody else? Keith? Either of the Keith, something new, something you haven't over the last month?
Over this last week, I started playing Axis and Allies again. I found Axis and Allies online, and so I downloaded it. And I before I actually jump into the Thunderdome, I have to polish up my skills.
It's so great. I'm just rediscovering that I can set aside some time to actually play a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't done that?
It's this last month I have.
Oh, okay. That's all I've been doing.
I was like, oh my gosh, I can. Yeah, that was really fun. So I'm rediscovering that, and me personally, I'm rediscovering a lot of the games that are still in cellophane, and that I've never opened, because we have, I've set, and like I have a whole bottom right corner in here that I don't think I've played maybe a quarter of those. So I was like, I gotta. Just rediscovering that kind of thing, rediscovering actually game night at home, because when you run a game company, you forget to play games for yourself, and which is like, and it's our mantra is to make time to tabletop, which Scooter doesn't do that enough. I know, it's like that's why I force myself to schedule it, and stuff. So that's what I've been rediscovering is like game night at home with the kids, all that kind of stuff. Rediscovering creativity. Like I said, I picked up my guitar that I haven't picked up in a year, and dusted it. It had fucking dust on it, and I was like, I have strings sitting next to it because like, man, it's been sitting for a year. So now I was like, oh, now I got to restring my bass and my guitar. And
well, what if your new hobbies just you guys start dusting?
That could be a thing, because there's so many hobbies that I've had throughout my life that are just collecting dust. Let's be real.
Take up dusting.
So how about
you can Twitch stream it?
Take up.
That could be our next thing.
Strap a GoPro on and just dust your whole house.
Right after cooking with Peter. Can it be right after? Yeah, really, right after cooking with Peter, we'll have dusting with Scooter.
Yeah, you want to just come over and clean my kitchen after I cook?
Hey, you got the camera on, so.
I would do that, Peter, because my OCD is like in high gear.
I have never done more dishes than I've been doing these videos.
I've never cooked more meals in my entire life.
Right. Scattered Keith.
I'm actually discovering how to make a web page.
Nice.
I was just going to pause there because probably most everybody else has, but now I've actually joined the 21st century now, and I'm actually learning how to do it. It's part of the actually this has been really good because I'm getting a lot of these links here because there's going to be a part of my web page that is going to have a listing of basically all the creators and the creative people that I've come in contact with. And so a lot of the links that are being, well, as many of the links I can see here, and I went ahead and saved this chat. I'm going to put all of those on my webpage under my sort of the creative group kind of thing. And so directing everybody to the different websites, the different podcasts, the different creators, pages and things like that is going to be part of my webpage. So
beautiful. It's
giving
hard.
A shout out, just giving a shout out to all the people that inspire me, that a part of that creative community and stuff like that. Is just being able to share all that. I'm going to make that a part of my webpage.
That's a huge part. Thank you, because that's what this community is about. Is a hand up. Creators are. I think we talk about that a lot. At least I do in the community. Like all these amazing creators of art and games and stories, and most people want to pay you with exposure, and you're like, I gotta pay bills, and this is like the number one. I mean, realistically, the number one commodity, not only in the state of California, but like in the United States, is entertainment.
Yep.
That's our number one commodity, and yet we want to pay our fellow creators with exposure. And I'm like, that's rough for me. And I think that's why when it comes to our Pull Up a Chair Expo, there's no table fee. You can donate to the charity. You can if you want to, but to have your local owned store to be there, join us. All we ask is you don't sell stuff that the creator is there selling, right? It's like you don't want to sell somebody's comic book from A1 Comics if that creator is sitting right there. You want that person getting that recognition. So that's kind of, we try and do it that way, and then replenish the costs with ticket sales. So because we got to get paid too, we got to pay for the venues and all that kind of stuff. So that's how this kind of the structure of this, we have sat down and foresee this going from here forward. So thank you for that. The websites are daunting sometimes because
I'm discovering that too.
I couldn't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I've screwed up. So maybe you and I, we could talk and say, don't do this. I can give you a list of things not to do. So that's cool though. Anybody else who's rediscovering something? Riza, do you have any time these days to rediscover, or you're working harder than and more than probably all of us?
Working it. Sewing, masks.
There you go.
Yeah, I've been sewing masks. I haven't sewn in a long time. And I was like, I should start doing that.
Masks.
Do you have to wear one at the store? Do you wear one at the store?
Yes. A few days ago, everybody that works there has to wear a mask. And then starting Monday, anybody who comes into the store, including our guests, must wear a mask.
Yeah, that's becoming a thing. So that's cool though. I mean, sewing is
safety.
My son just decided to sew a pillow the other day. I don't know why.
Yes.
I give him free time in his homeschooling to figure out something to do, because I want him to not rely on somebody else to tell him what to do. So he made a pillow.
Yeah,
got out a needle and some thread and I was like, okay. He stuffed it with socks and old T-shirts. That was the stuffing.
One hell of a pillow.
But he made a pillow, and I was like, I'm okay with this. He tried a glove, and I was like, whoa, slow down, buddy. That can't be your first sewing.
More than a square.
Yeah, I was like, woo. So, sewing is a huge. That's a huge talent to reestablish. Anybody else? Pito. Michelle.
Something new.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yes, my wife and I have started playing Scrabble. That's hit it back.
Who's been winning?
Well, sadly, my wife won the last time we played by 1 point or 2. One or 2.
Tilting.
She'll scream in a second. Let me know how many points it was.
Once she gets off the delay, right? She'll watch it on the stream.
As Abby was talking about earlier, you started DMing, and I never DM'd either. I played a long time ago, part of the Satanic Panic. I went to all-girls Catholic high school, so a guy I was dating at the time was like, oh, you should play Dungeons and Dragons, and then all of the backlash that came from that, from being in a all-girls Catholic school, was just ridiculous. But so I took a break for a very, very, very long time, and I never really DM'd. So now my wife and my kids are my test subjects. And so I think a year. Wait, what year is it? 2020. I think in 2018, maybe 2017, I started Delver because that's the starter kit, and that's the one you start out with. And
it's still a damn good story. I mean, realistically, as starter kits go, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played it a dozen times, but it's still good.
Still good.
I've adapted it to like 100 campaigns. It's an awesome game.
Yeah.
Well, I morphed that into Waterdeep because I had played Waterdeep because I was like, it was something that was familiar. So yeah, I mean, we play at least, I mean, now that there's no school and I can make this a part of school, we'll do it once a week because for a couple of them, I can find some sort of like rubric or something that it can fit into their curriculum, and their teachers will approve that, and you know, it can be a part of their curriculum and they'll get credit for it. So that's great. So what I'm doing.
I gotta go. I gotta run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. Good to see you guys. Good
And
to
we'll
meet
talk to you
everybody.
soon, man. I think we might chat later today.
Yeah, we'll try to chat
This
later.
guy. All right, Peter. Peace out,
Bye,
dude.
guys.
Bye, Peter.
Who's
Bye, Peter.
John.
who's this John guy?
Oh,
This
nobody.
guy.
I'm nobody.
This guy.
No one invited you.
Yeah, no one invited me. Sorry, guys. Go away. Risa, you're a bully.
Yeah.
She agrees with you.
Yeah.
You're a bully. Well, I think we went around the horn, and we're a little after 4, so we want to respect people's time and schedule. But guys, thank you so much. Make sure we extend these thank yous retro to the beginning of this too, because for Jen, as Satine, and Peter, and everybody that, you know, Jason hopping in, and just how many people are actually involved in here has made this over the top stellar community here in Sacramento that a lot of people haven't even discovered yet. So keep telling them. Yeah, it's true.
That's one of the big things that I tell people when they come to the shop and they'll see the poster or I'll hand out flyers and stuff. These are all local people. These are all people that live in Sacramento. You want to support them. You know, it's one of the big things that I do. Any of the products that I might get in through my distributors or whatever, I try to always represent the people who are local or within the state of California first, and then outside from there. So like I had Peter's game in the shop and it went pretty fast. I've been meaning to want to get a hold of him again because I want to get some more, but then all this happened and I wasn't able to open the shop again. So definitely that's one of the biggest things that for me is, you know, with having met everybody here and being able to say, hey, this person's going to be there, or, you know, you should definitely talk to this other person because they'll definitely get you in. I do have some teachers that want to talk to you, Scooter, so I'm
here. I'm available. I'll set up a meeting all day.
Yeah, because they want to get into using your program in their classrooms. So definitely something that I want to send them your way. I do give people your card and stuff like that. So I hope that they're getting a hold of you.
Hit us up because I do have our lead instructor. She couldn't be here today. She has other engagements here to do. But Valerie, she's really taken it by the reins over this last year. I'll set up a meeting with anybody sitting down that's interested in that for sure, because that's my huge passion. So for sure. But no, seriously, guys, this means a lot that you guys took the time out of your day to do this. And on a parting note, I just did want to say, of course, I'll give a cheers, but see these cute little cups that have April 11th printed on them? These were for the expo. So moving forward, so my wife and I are using them as our little beer glasses. So two of them are getting good use, but we still are going to, we may just reuse them and bring them out and do it for fun. But there's a lot of planning that went into this, and we're ready to go. So once we get a release to where we can go out there and hang out again legally, we will stamp a date on this. I'm working on that constantly, and trying to keep everybody informed. If you're not hearing from me, that means nothing has changed. Okay, I will touch base with you going forward and with the community, that because we're live streaming. So I will be touching base with everyone here.
Cool.
If things change. Right now, I think we're in decent communication because you're all here. So, any parting words, guys? Anybody want to say goodbye? Shout out? Anything we forgot? There's probably 100 things I forgot. Anything, but
Where is our other board member? Your wife? Where's Sarah?
I know
Sarah?
she's been
Waiting for
texting
Sarah.
me. I can beckon.
Sarah.
I can beckon. Sarah.
I've been texting her because I know you're not checking your text messages.
I know. I'm like going. Okay, there's a Twitch message. There's a Facebook message. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, I think we got most of this fixed. Let me see if I can yell. I'm gonna mute my mic.
Did she make desserts? Has she been making desserts? Dessert.
Another thing.
She always makes dessert.
Oh, nice.
We had like lemon cookies last time. It was so good. I don't know what he's doing. But make sure everyone's checking on their people and always just staying positive throughout all this.
I talk to you guys a lot on Discord and whatnot. We've been playing games together through Discord and just Zoom and just hanging out.
Yeah, they did it! Woo!
So yeah, my earphones are on really loud, so she can hear it.
That's okay. We just wanted to see you.
We're all working. She's working just way harder than she should be.
Bake anything?
How about
Did she
that?
cook?
No.
She didn't bake anything today. Yesterday was cookies.
Oh, I've been making cookies like all week.
Almost every day.
A lot of bread.
Hell yeah.
She loves making
Well,
bread.
Right
Yeah,
on.
it's getting hard to keep up with that. I got to do like extra push-ups because of it. Lots of cardio. She goes, "Oh, this is not a cardio-heavy day." Yeah, it is.
Orange Theory online, if you guys go, free workout. That's amazing.
What is?
Orange Theory. We've been doing actually like Orange Theory workouts every other day to try and stay sane and not get like 5,000 pounds. So yeah, that's been my kind of new thing is like, oh, I guess I've rediscovered cardio.
Dang.
So, all right, babe.
All right.
Let's go back to work.
I was ordering sushi.
Oh, okay. Oh, she was on the phone ordering sushi. Support local. We're supporting local, and it's a birthday dinner. It's a born on day anniversary celebration.
Nice.
For our 16-year-old who will be 17 tomorrow.
Oh, that's spooky.
But she wanted sushi, so we're supporting local. We're going to Origato's, going and pick that up.
I love Origato's.
Same. So that we're trying to support local. So, and we have a case of beer that we just went and picked up from New Glory.
Ubadon.
All right.
Yep. So we're prepared. So
That's all you really need. Coffee,
Yeah.
beer, and baked goods.
that's my life.
Right?
But all right, let's get out of here. Let's go enjoy. Text me, message me. I'm always available. If you have anything, that means everybody out there also, if you want to tweet at me, send us a message. One of us, including me, will respond and reach out to you. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for the rest of us that are here. Thank you, Keith. Keith and Abby, Riza, and of course, Michelle. Thank you so much. We will see everybody soon. But until then, this is what I would say. Until then, make sure and pull up a chair and make time to tabletop.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's our shtick. All right, guys.
Bye, everybody.
We'll talk to you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.